You're listening to BYU-Idaho Radio. I'm Nathan Lenahan, and today I'm joined on the phone by Erin Schertz. She's a marketing manager at RootsTech. Erin, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me. This is great.
So for anyone who doesn't know, could you just give us a brief overview of what RootsTech is?
Yeah, absolutely. So Roots Tech has been around for many years, since about 2011, and we are the largest and most premier family discovery conference in the world. So Roots Tech happens every single year, right around the beginning of March. This year it's March 5th through the 7th. And we are in person in Salt Lake City at the Salt Palace Convention Center and also online worldwide and this year in 23 languages.
So what's the origin of RootsTech? Like, how did it start and come about?
So it's interesting because I think for a long time, family history and learning about your past and your ancestry has been something that a lot of people are interested in. Where did I come from? What makes me who I am today? And that discovery is available in lots of different ways. There's so many companies and there's technology databases where people can search and find records, but there wasn't one single event that brought everyone together. So Roots Tech exists to do that, to bring the whole industry together, all of the people that are creating innovations in technology for family history and genealogy and really like moving the work forward. It's a time for us to all get together to talk about the latest advancements and the ways that people can find records. And I think especially when records became digital and technology really helped the work, that just became more and more important.
Yeah. And so how did you yourself get involved in RootsTech and family history?
So I am almost 46 years old, and when I was at BYU Provo, I was studying history and developed this fascination for my own family history while I was there. At the time, so this is 1998. You could go to the beautiful BYU library and look up records, like they had microfiches that we would literally bring out and put under a microscope and comb through census records and all of that. And I found it so fascinating, but it took a lot of time and work. And I studied it and I took lots of classes. And then my life kind of took a different direction until about 3 years ago when a friend of mine, mentioned that Roots Tech was in need of someone to come and help with the engagement and the marketing. And it was so amazing. And that foundation that I had built when I was at BYU all those years ago came flooding back. And I just felt like I needed to get back into my roots and help others do the same thing. So that's what drove me to come here and do this.
So, in what ways, besides what you said, has family history and records and all these things changed that you've seen?
So even in the 3 years that I've been here and at Family Search and working at Roots Tech, there has been huge advancements. I would say 3 years ago, we came back from the pandemic for the in-person event and we started online as well. And before the pandemic hit, we were only in person really. And there was about, 15 to 20,000 people that would come to the Salt Lake City Salt Palace every year. Well, when pandemic hit, everyone went virtual with things and Roots Tech was included in that. And now we have millions of people coming from all over because there's so much digital now. When I started 3 years ago, the hot topic was DNA and how to really figure out exactly where you came from. And now we see the conversation is continuing to revolve around technology and DNA and the digital records that you can find, but also AI. Artificial intelligence is really changing and enhancing the way that we can do our family history. It's quite amazing to see how that is being implemented. There's a lot of companies that are coming to Roots Tech that are really focusing on their AI strategy because the truth is that there's so much out there that it's hard to know where to start. And artificial intelligence is really helping people discover that plan and find out how he needs to do their family history. So that's really where I see it going. A lot of the conversation is around that.
Right. And what kind of activities and events do they offer at Roots Tech?
So there's classes all week long. I mean, it starts on March 5th and it ends on March 7th. The whole time there's classes that you can go to. If you watch online and you decide not to come to the Salt Palace, there's classes during that entire window as well that are live. And then most of them will stay on the website after. So if you're really busy during that time, you can come back and watch them afterwards. There's so many different topics. In fact, our schedule is open right now on rootstech.org, and you can go and set up your own schedule for free. You can go and just decide on which classes you want to watch at which times, and then tune in during the live event to watch those, or like I said, after. And then the cool thing about this year is that we have keynotes that we've recorded from all over the world, and 4 of our keynotes are going live on February 13th. So 1 week from today, you can go to rootstech.org and watch those addresses. We have keynotes from Ireland, from Brazil, we have the Philippines. We have so many different nations covered to talk about family origins, stories, and heritage, and all that comes from that. So anyone can participate and watch and learn and be inspired. And then besides the classes, we'll have other keynotes that are only going to be live at the Salt Palace Convention Center and then online during that time that they're live. So we have Marlee Matlin, who is an Academy Award-winning actress coming, and she is an advocate in the ASL and deaf community. She's amazing.
Mhm.
And then we have a National Geographic explorer. Her name is Tara Roberts. So she is really cool because she does deep sea diving and explores old slave ships from the 1800s and learns so much about family history and the history of all of that. So she's coming to share a message on Friday, March 6th. And then on Saturday, we have 2 really exciting in-person and online events, which is Steve Young, who, for those of you that are my age or older, will totally remember Steve Young, who was a 49ers quarterback for a long time and Super Bowl winner and just an amazing person. And then he has an amazing story to share. And then also Albert and Sister Rasband, Elder Rasband from the Quorum of the 12 Apostles, and his wife, Melanie Rasband, will be there to share a message about family discovery and temple work and all the good and blessings that come from that. So that's on Saturday. Now, Saturday is really cool because it's completely free. If you don't want to buy a ticket for the entire event, you can come on Saturday for free. If you want to come to the entire event in person, there are tickets available right now online, or you can buy a ticket when you come to the door. But on Saturday, it's free.
Right.
As well as an expo hall. So I mentioned all the companies that come together during Roots Tech. The expo hall is free the entire time, and it's huge. We have over 200 companies that are going to be there showing off their technology, their platforms, the things that they do. And honestly, if any of you out there that are listening have questions about your own family history, you're not sure where to start, you don't know how to get going, it's a great opportunity. Or maybe you're stuck, like you've gone so far and you don't know how to find more. This is a great opportunity to bring the information that you have to the Salt Palace, come to the expo hall, meet with these vendors. There's also an online component to that where you can chat with them online if you just can't make it to Salt Lake. But if you can come to Salt Lake, it's really exciting to see what they're up to and have the experts themselves help you on site there. So that's another thing that you can do.
Right. And so you said people can go online and prepare their schedules and sign up for what classes they're going to attend. What other things would you say that people can do to prepare to be ready to go to Roots Tech?
So there's so much. The schedule is the first start, I would think. But then after that, starting on Friday, the 13th, which we didn't plan that, but it just happened to land on that day, we are opening up a ton of family search experiences online. So the best and cool, well, they're all great. One of the most popular ones, and what's something that I love, is called Relatives at Roots Tech. So, excuse me, on Friday, February 13th, you'll be able to join Relatives at Roots Tech. And if you go to rootstech.org, you can easily find it. It's just going to be there on the homepage. And what that is you join it, you sign up, it's completely free. it hooks into your family tree. If you don't have a family tree yet, you can easily add what you know to your family tree, totally free, never anything to pay for. And it hooks you into everyone else that has opted in and signed into Relatives at RootsTech and shows you if you're related to them. So it ends up being a big cousin reunion, and you learn about people that you didn't even know you were related to that are also experiencing RootsTech, and it shows you where they are around the world. So last year, I made a discovery that the first cool thing was I had a fourth cousin that I worked with every single day, and I had no idea. Her name is Rachel Matthews. She was amazing behind the scenes, and she does a lot of work on the website. And when I signed in, it showed me my closest cousin connection was Rachel. And I literally talked to her every single day and had no idea we were related. So
Wow.
that was really cool. And then I also had relatives in Ireland and England that I didn't know that are alive today. These are not relatives from the past, but they are people who are like literally signing into the experience right now to see who they're connected to. So that's something that's super cool. And you can even message people through the Family Tree app once you find out you're connected. You find out how you're connected on your family tree, and then you can reach out to them and make cousin connections. So that's a really fun thing to do to prepare. Another thing is we have these experiences where you can see how you related to people who are famous, who have passed away and are in the past. So we have, oh gosh, over 100 that you can look at and see if you're related to Queen Elizabeth or um, Muhammad Ali, or there's just so many to choose from. So we call that our famous relatives experience, which will also be live on Friday the 13th. So you can find out how you're connected to those people. So that's pretty fun too.
That's great. Seems like there's a lot of stuff going on. And I guess the last question I would have is just why would you consider family history and knowing your roots and origins just to be important?
That's such a good question. I think family history and knowing about your origin is important for so many different reasons for people. All sorts of people have different reasons for knowing that. You know, myself, my family history, when I started learning about it at BYU, I thought, oh, it's been done. Everyone's done everything. All of my ancestry goes back to pioneers. And even before that, so much work had been done. So it felt like there wasn't anything to discover. But I learned that as I've gotten into it more and learned the stories of those people, there's been so much more that I've learned. So one personal story to me is that I've always struggled with anxiety, and I never knew that I was connected to anyone or any reason for that. I just thought it was random. I'm the oldest of 5 children. I was the only one that I knew of that struggled with this. And I thought, why me? What is it about me that makes me have this struggle? And it was really interesting. I was reading more about one of my ancestors on my mom's side and learned through some journal entries, and they didn't call it anxiety at the time, but it was something that she struggled with so much too. And it was amazing when I made that discovery. For me, it made me feel like I wasn't as alone. And it made me feel like that was something that was connecting me to my family that I could overcome, because we can all do hard things, but sometimes we just need to do it together. And so that was a personal story. Another really cool thing is I got married about 13 years ago, and my mother-in-law and my father-in-law are both adopted on both sides. And neither one of them had really ever tried to find out who their birth parents were or where they started. And my mother-in-law about 5 years ago became interested in learning more about her birth parents. So through a DNA test, and when she went to RootsTech and she ended up taking a DNA test and she learned who her family is. We found that she has 5 siblings that she never knew that she had. She learned who her birth mom and her dad was. Both of them have since passed away, but we were able to find pictures, and she was able to know what part of the world they came from. And for her, I know that was extremely healing to understand more about herself. It was really cool the first time that we saw her mom's photo. It was from an immigration document, and it was this clear black and white photo. And she's so beautiful, and she looks so much like his mother-in-law. And it's just, I can't imagine, because I'm not in the same situation that she is in, but for the first time ever to see that you have a family resemblance. because she didn't look like her adopted parents and she loved them, but she didn't look like them. So to discover that was really healing for her in a lot of ways. And I think that that was her why. That was her why. She wanted to have that connection. So everyone has a why. And I think that when you get into it, you never know what that's going to be sometimes until you discover it. And that's the magic of family discovery and family history.
Aaron, thank you so much for joining us today and for sharing all this information about Roots Tech with us.
Thanks, Nathan. This has been great.